Hello, welcome Solex Nation. It is the end of June, and as we do with the end of every month, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say it's time to pull your reports. It's the last Wednesday, and so if you are interested in tracking how your team is doing, you go and pull at least your quick reports. Remember that you just have to export those at least, and then you can download those later if you want to.
That's right. Now we have a new addition in the back office. Have you seen our new bundles?
Yes, we're really excited about these bundles. These are part of the enrollment process. These bundles actually qualify for a liftoff bonus if you have a new person enroll with one of these bundles. One of the key features in these bundles is they obviously bring a lot of product together at the same time, but they bring them at a significant one-time discount only available at enrollment.
That's right.
The key also with those enrollment bundles is that they are focused on something that we've been working on for quite a while. One of the things is, as we've brought on more and more people, our engineers have worked really hard to open up the load or lighten the load on any device that you use. And so these are bring your own device bundles. These bundles, so we still have the mobiles out there right now. We still have the tablet out there right now. But really, these bundles are significant in the discount as well as the opportunities for people to get really not just knee deep, but I think waist or neck deep into the Solex environment. There's so many wonderful things from red light therapy, 660 bands to light wave glasses. Wonderful things. Cepheid dots.
Yeah, so many great things in those bundles.
So if you haven't seen them yet, just go to your shop.solexnation.com site and check out those.
That's right. Now, it is with the end of June, we also need to talk a little bit about Punta Cana and the qualifications for Punta Cana.
Right. So if you have not qualified for at least 1 month yet at this point, so far in this 12-month run, today, this is the month to do it, right? You have to have qualified in June because then you'd have to hit June, July, and August. Remember, it's a 3-month qualification to get a net increase of 15 for a trip for 1 or 20 for a trip for 2. We've had plenty of people already qualified.
Oh, we have, yes.
And we have plenty of people partway through qualification. But if you have jumped in recently, last few days to get that first month knocked out.
And if you have questions on what you need to do, what you need to qualify, give our customer support a call and they'll help you with that.
Now with that, I mean, in June, we have an incentive, right? For if you're bringing on a new person. So these are some tools, obviously, that if you're sharing the Solex information with people, the AO scan technology, and you're getting them to come in and buy one of the new bundles to join Solex, they actually also get, when they buy one of the bundles or one of the devices with the AO scan subscription, they will get a coupon for access or for a ticket to the Day of Discovery here in September.
Or if you're in Australia or New Zealand or in that area of the world, you'll get a ticket for the Australian Day of Discovery in November.
Yes. And so, again, like we've said before, you'll get an emailed coupon. You then redeem the coupon for your actual ticket and registration to the event. But that's a great tool. That's coming to an end, too. We're in the last few days of that.
Yes, yes. Now, tomorrow, June 29th at 4 o'clock Mountain Time, we are going to have a leadership call, and that is for all golds and above. And now, you don't have to have hit the rank of gold. If you have qualified at least once for gold, then you'll be invited to that. You should have already received an email with an invitation to that, and there are emails going out today and tomorrow with the link to the Zoom call.
Yes. Yeah, so we look forward to seeing. We have a busy end of the month.
We really do.
June.
We have a lot.
We're talking about June quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you on that call. We're obviously going to tell you, among other things, what's going to happen in the next few months as we have kind of created that pattern so far this year.
That's right. You know, over the last few weeks, we have gotten a lot of feedback about maybe some slowness in devices or glitches, seeming that it sounded like it was glitches.
Yeah, yeah. We're really careful about that word because when you're dealing in software, you want to make sure that you're always honing in on where is the cause of the challenge.
Right.
And like, I don't know if you happen to see Loran and my Facebook video or the video we put out on Facebook and was shared through different teams. But the short is this, is that if you had a less than perfect experience recently when in scanning, using the AO scan technology, We have been working on all fronts of looking at the servers involved, looking at how can we influence your local internet speed. Now, we can't obviously dictate and tell you what speed you have to have. We could, but obviously with high speed, there's great variation in different types of high-speed internet. And so we are trying to do what we can to influence that. There are then a multiplicity of factors on any given device, whether it's the AO Scan mobile or whether it's a device that you bring on your own. There's so many things involved. And so what we have been working on, and our engineers have been working around the clock for the last weeks in reviewing each area of the AO Scan technology.
I can't even imagine what they've been through.
Yeah, they've been reviewing, looking ways to lighten the load on the servers, on the internet speed, on the local device. And that actually has improved quite a bit the success of the AO Scan technology on any device.
Yes.
Now with that, let me just point out one key thing that we just released actually within the last couple of days that we think is just a big help.
We've already seen a huge difference, actually.
Yeah. If you go onto your AO Scan technology and up on the right-hand corner, there's the 3 bars. That's your settings area. In that settings area, there is a new category called animation. Now, animation is set to default. That means full animation, all the colors, bells and whistles, all the, tinkling things that you get to see on the AO Scan
Like, for example, when you do your vital scan and the bar is moving up and down, that's an animation.
Yeah.
When you go on pulse tones and inner voice and
the
you see the
circle.
Yeah, the circle, and you see it looks like kind of a flowery circle thing moving, that's animation.
So what we can do is, if you're having a less than perfect experience, and most likely it's one of those different factors from server to internet speed to load on device, you can actually go to that setting and click down and click reduced. That then saves that setting until you change it back to default. What is reduce going to do? Reduce is actually going to reduce the animations in effect. It does nothing to reduce the function of the scanning experience. What it does is it just takes all the feel-good stuff out of it, meaning you don't get all the colors maybe and all the dancing around on the screen you might like.
For example, like on Vital Scan, you lose the bar that goes up and down, but you can still see on the person, you can see the colors changing. You can see the different system or the different part of the system that it's scanning. So you know that it's still working. You're just not seeing that bar going up and down.
And the sound, right? You still have the sound.
I don't remember if it has a sound or not.
Yep.
But it is reducing the load on the software, and it's helping it run more smoothly for you.
Yeah, to clarify, the sound is playing, but the point is the scan is working the way it's supposed to. It always has, but what you're doing is taking the load off, taking the additional load off of whether it's servers, internet speed, or a local device. And so it's an improved experience.
I do want to say before you do this, make sure you clear your cache and your cookies and update your Chrome. And that's how you'll have the best experience.
It's always a good practice. And every once in a while, what's a good practice is actually turning off the device, letting it sit there for a minute or two, and then turning it back on. That kind of clears out everything as well and refreshes the system and lets it start back up in a healthier way. Yeah,
so we are so grateful for our engineers and thankful for all that they have done over the last 2 weeks to figure this out, and looking forward to hearing your feedback and your experience with this.
Yeah.
Now, on Tuesday, it is a holiday here in the United States. It is our July 4th Independence Day. And so we will actually be closed in observance of that holiday. We'll be open on Monday, closed on Tuesday. We'll open back up on Wednesday. So if you have a need that you need to have, call the customer support, just know that on Tuesday they will not be here.
Yeah, and we don't want any confusion. Our observance is going to be on the actual date.
It will be.
Not on Monday.
That's right. Okay, last week we had a contest and we gave away something huge.
This is our biggest giveaway so far. We're giving away Bluetooth transducer headset and Cepheid dots. And that kind of goes along with what Beck McQuilty and Tammy Ward showed us, a little tip of actually imprinting a Cepheid dot with EMF protections.
Yes.
And actually placing them on the insides of the headset.
Brilliant,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so smart.
If you didn't see their tip and trick last week, go back and watch the beginning of the weekly update and you'll see what they do. And it's not just EMF protection. Beck McQuilty also talked about other frequencies that she likes to imprint.
Yeah, because they're right there, right? And obviously with the Cepheid dots anyways, you can imprint all kinds of frequencies that would help you throughout the day and just carry them with you.
Yeah, that's right.
There.
That's
there
right.
in your headset.
Okay, so we're going to give away to 3 people. We're going to give away
3 people. Good
Bluetooth
heavens.
headset
you're
and
first.
stuffy dolls. You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. All right, first person, Denise Schneider, 2911. I share this opportunity because I want so deeply to empower others with the tools to help their family and friends obtain better health. I'm a practitioner, and my last favorite message is when moms messaged me asking to muscle test which of their kids should see me first because they cannot afford to help all of their children. It breaks my heart, and now I have the best answer ever. I take the $149 that it costs to see me and try a month subscription to help the entire family instead of just one child. I want to lock arms with every willing mom and help them succeed for business and for health. Well, Denise, if there's somebody who deserves our biggest giveaway, you do.
Man, that made me tear up. That's really, really generous. Julie Gibbons. Having Solex in my life has given me so many solutions to things that were out of my control. 6 months ago, I was an emotional time bomb, anxious and unsure of myself. Through continuous use of all the different programs and sharing the features with others is so profound yet so natural. What fascinates me is why we haven't been given our own wellness centers sooner.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right, last one. Another D, Debbie Carlson. My why is first because of my family. I believe God has been answering my desperate prayers over the last 15 years. I'm grateful every day. My heart is to help other moms who are in challenging times find new levels of wellness, peace of mind, and support in their homes. This incredible, unmatchable scanner has been so wonderful to share over the past few years. It's the best feeling helping other practitioners too, and seeing them have an easier time finding answers in real time. Thank you, God, and thank you, Solex. Debbie, wonderful. We're right in line with you. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing we want, and we talk about it often, is we know that moms in most situations are the caregivers always, not just for their kids, for their spouses, for their parents, for their in-laws. They make all kinds of wonderful health decisions, and what an empowerment like AOScan technology can do for all of them.
It's so true. And for their pets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for their pets.
So we will send out the Bluetooth headset and the Cephi Dust to all 3 of you tomorrow. And I want to say, we're going to talk about top enrollers.
Yep.
And this is for the week of?
June 19th to 25th.
Now, I want to say, Debbie Carlson, what she just said rings true, and you are sharing this because you are one of our top enrollers this week. We have a tie for second place.
Tie for second place.
And Debbie Carlson.
Martha Imelda Yernis.
And Amy Cukes.
Okay, and in first place, we have another tie.
Yes.
Both of these people are going to get the Solex silver coin.
Yes. And one of them has about 100.
Yes. Let's introduce who that is.
Rita Dickinson.
Congratulations, Rita. Great job tying again and getting a Solex silver coin. Yes, again, I think 52 last week, 53 this week.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you have a ton. That's awesome. But we have a new name. Congratulations, Jessie Morrison. She is part of the Legacy group now.
Yes, congratulations. We will send you both your silver coins tomorrow. All right, now we are going to you had a conversation with Jennifer Nelson Hawks this week.
Yeah, she's so brilliant.
She is, I love
smart.
Jennifer Nelson Hawks. Yes, she's so smart. You can give Jennifer any topic, any health-related topic, and she can talk and talk and talk about it. She knows
it's really
her
kind
stuff.
of annoying sometimes because when you come across somebody who just knows everything, she knows so much.
I don't know anybody like that who thinks they know everything.
Well, I think I know everything.
She does know everything.
That's the world I live in, and she just knows everything. And that's probably a better world to live in.
All right, let's watch it. I thought it was great, so let's take a look.
Hello, everyone. I am here with Jennifer Nelson Hawks. So glad that you have visited us in the last few days and are taking some time to actually have a really cool conversation.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Yes. Now Jennifer, I know her here. Not only has she obviously worked in this space for quite a while,
But you have a course on Solex University, actually a pretty powerful course that comes with a book that I'm very familiar with. But why don't you share with everybody a little bit about your background, where you came from, what you're doing?
Sure, thank you. I am Jennifer Nelson Hawks. I'm originally from Jackson, Wyoming, and I have been in this industry for 20 plus years. So it sings true to my heart. I opened up a full functional wellness center in 2013. And I recently just sold it in September to do more one-on-one and create more programs like I have in Solex University called Simplify from Head to Toe.
Wonderful, wonderful. When you jumped into your wellness center, your full functional wellness center, what was the draw? What was the draw away from mainstream everything into full function? Why is that important? Why was that important to you?
Great question. One of the reasons why it was so important is because I believe that sometimes the body needs extra support, that we can't just do it all on our own. So when I say full functional wellness center, it's because I had different modalities like the AO scan in there. I had things like your lymphatic bed that you have here.
Yeah.
So I have those type of tools that were able to help the body facilitate the actual functionality of where people were breaking down. And then being able to look at what their nutrition was, being able to look at what maybe supplementation they needed, which is something that is not one size fits all.
Right.
And so it was a place for people to come where they could feel supported. They could feel like they were in a safe space, but knowing that everyone has a unique situation.
Yeah, I love that. And it gives you that approach alone of everyone having a unique situation, and everybody is unique in and of themselves, with the power of being very diverse empowered with tools to give you a broad range of ability. Boy, that must have been very satisfying.
Absolutely. And it got to the point where we were so busy that it was taking up too much of my time, really. Yeah. And I wasn't able to provide enough support to everyone. And so what that did is I was able to create group classes. I was able to create little programs like I did through Solex University.
Yes. There becomes a stage, I think, in every master's career, right? When I say mastering a subject, mastering an area, something that you just are super passionate about, that you then you must reach beyond what got you there. And it's passing it on and trying to reach more. And thus, obviously, education is part of that. But I've always found it fascinating. I've said this over and over again. I love to buy books. I love to buy books where somebody has spent a decade, 2 decades, their whole life on this subject. And, relatively, whether the book costs me, $15 or $20 or $150, $200 or $1,000, it doesn't matter necessarily, because what you are getting whenever that happens is incredible.
Right. Little nuggets from someone's brain.
Yeah. That have been developing for decades.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, we're not going to go through every facet of everything and everything that obviously is in your course. That course is fantastic on its own, and the book alone is worth the price of the course. But what we're going to kind of talk today about is a subject that you and I think we have an interest in. We've been looking at it, researching around it, testing, trying, developing our own approach, right? And we're going to talk about probiotics. Probiotics, the microbiota. Now, to kind of lay the landscape here, we're talking about trillions of microorganisms, right?
Absolutely. And not just people think of probiotics and they think of only their gut.
Yes.
It's all over the body.
Everywhere. Exactly. And we're not just talking even just in the GI tract, not just from mouth to intestines, but then we're also talking about nose, eyes, skin. Everything is a part of this. Right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I get asked all the time, and we're going to get into this deeper about, what probiotic works for what people,
right.
But sometimes we have to stop and think about the north to south approach.
Yeah.
Right? Where's the north approach? The north approach is the mouth.
Yes.
So sometimes it's not even in the gut that we need to be, aware of.
Yeah. And exactly right. Because we can do so much good and in the same effect, do so much damage, right? Based on just that avenue alone.
Well, yeah, and I think that's because people don't really understand what a probiotic is really all about. I mean, they understand the concept of it.
Yeah.
But there are billions of different strains of probiotics out there, right? Some of them are supporting your gut. Some of them are supporting your skin. Some of them are supporting your brain. Some of them are supporting your gut.
Yes, and when you're looking at that, it's so interesting, and we'll get into this as well. Not to give everything out right here, but this idea of there are billions, of types that can address different areas, and in the same breath, maybe not be so great for another area of the body.
That's correct. Yes. Those opportunistic bacteria.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Some of them are creating, the haven, and others of them are creating the havoc.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. So as we jump into this, I mean, one of the first things I think we're trying to understand, at least in this foundational level, of trillions of microorganisms from skin to eyes to throat to gut, right? We're looking at that and we're saying, okay, what we're trying to, if there is a baseline we're trying to avoid, it is a low diversity of microbiota, or microorganisms in the gut, because that creates an imbalance. Would you agree with that?
That's correct. Yes, I was going to ask you. So you're saying that having low diversity is not good, correct?
Correct.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So one of the things that if we're trying to just generally approach, and there'll be plenty of people who listen to this or watch this that will go, great. Yeah, I've heard about microbiota. I've heard about microorganisms and gut bacteria, and I've heard about probiotics and prebiotics and everything in between. But really, outside of what P&G is doing to put probiotics on the shelf at Walmart, what do I do? Do I just grab the box with the highest number of probiotics in it?
I mean, there's so many components to this.
Yeah.
So many components, because, there's proprietary blends. There's blends with, CFUs per each line item of different strain. There are ones that sit on the shelf. There are ones that sit in the fridge. There are ones that are mixed in with other things. There's food relations. There's so many different things. And then you have to understand, okay, if you're going to take a probiotic, what are you taking with that probiotic?
Yeah.
Are you trying to create this diversity, but literally in the same mouthful of whatever it is, you're destroying that diversity.
You're absolutely killing it. Yeah, it's not even making it to where you think it's going. And in fact, there are even really poorly made probiotics and prebiotics that don't even survive the stomach to get to the environment where you want to create as much diversity as possible as well.
I agree with that. And that's because they are live bacteria.
Yeah.
And live bacteria are not strong enough to sustain high acid.
Yeah.
And if you have a digestive system that is properly established, you have hydrochloric acid that is at a 2.5 pH. So you put a live probiotic into that hydrochloric acid environment, they're going to die off.
Yeah.
So unless you have had situations where you have low hydrochloric acid, or you have leaky gut, or you have stress that has broken down the diversity of strains of probiotics in your stomach, well, then it's a matter of how long does that stay live, right? And then what strains do you need to create that diversity? How do you weed your garden? How do you support your garden? And how do you fertilize your garden?
Yes,
right?
Love that. Love that. And I love the garden analogy, because I think that's kind of perfect when you think about this broad range of what is involved and so many variables. If anybody has tried to unsuccessfully garden, you understand that, boy, it isn't just digging a hole, putting a plant in there, giving it some water every once in a while, and hopefully you get the benefits of it.
Well, yeah. And so with my research, right? So owning the supplement or owning the wellness center, I have supplements in there.
Yeah. Yep.
The proprietary blend of supplements, essentially it's a formula. It's a formula at the end of the day that says, this is a proprietary formula that has these specific strains. So as long as you take this before the expiration date, we guarantee you that this probiotic will sustain these amount of CFUs.
Okay.
But if you have line items, so say that company, that particular company runs out of a specific strain or is low on it because of quantity over quality or whatever reason.
Yeah.
They could supplement, like say there's lactobacillus and there's Saccharomyces boulardii, and it's in a proprietary blend of 100 CFUs.
Yeah.
So it could be 99% of Saccharomyces boulardii and 1% of the other.
Yeah.
And maybe your body doesn't need Saccharomyces boulardii, right? So
Yes.
you're creating an issue somewhere else in the body when you think you're actually trying to do good.
Right. And I think that is often the case, especially in the marketed probiotic approach. When I say marketed, what we'll see on commercials or what we'll see in different advertisements on social media is that they're selling an easy solution, an easy pill, right?
Right.
To say, oh, just do this, everything's going to be fine.
Right. And I do think that there's a time and a place for that. So if someone has been on antibiotics, that's going to wipe everything out.
Yeah.
You've got to help the body start. It's a seed. It's that little seed that's going to allow the garden to at least have some diversity in it before you add other things. Because if you go into a stomach that has no hydrochloric acid, that has now leaky gut because of antibiotics, you have a stressful situation, you're not sleeping, you've got all these things happening.
Yep.
You might need a little bit of help to start getting the diversity started.
Right. I think you're spot on. We do. There's so many things that can happen throughout our regular day-to-day life that could do massive damage. Like you mentioned, antibiotics alone going to do massive destruction to the environment. Although it's doing something to help you in a different way, right? It's really hurting in this area. And so using even an off-the-shelf to a degree, diverse, again, we're looking for massive diversity, right? When we're looking at probiotics and prebiotics to help kickstart things back in the right direction.
I agree, but it's also, I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here, because, okay, so maybe you don't have antibiotics, right? Maybe you haven't taken the antibiotics, but perhaps you have long-term constant constipation.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You've got a toxicity going on in your colon.
Yeah.
So you take a live probiotic for your stomach that doesn't even get to the colon, and it's really the colon that needs that diverse.
The
diversity, right?
Yes.
So then you're looking at a spore-based probiotic versus a live probiotic.
Well, and spore-based, that is something that you've mentioned in the past that you prefer.
I personally do prefer that because I think our colon is truly the source of toxicity and destruction when we're looking at the big picture of things.
Right. No, I think that's great. And you might, as you think about choosing that or looking into that or where people would find something like that, what would you recommend to somebody? Hey, I want to do a spore-based probiotic to support my situation. Did they just go search on the internet, spore-based?
I mean, the reality is yes, you can do that.
Okay.
But you're going to find some trusted resources out there.
Okay.
So if you don't know what those trusted resources are, find someone that you either work with or that you know that can help guide you in that direction.
Yeah.
Because, just because it's a spore-based probiotic doesn't mean that it doesn't have different strains as well.
Yes.
Right? So we're back to what strain do you need?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What would you say? Like I'm listening to this and I'm like, yeah, okay, I want to take step one, right? Step one.
I think in my true opinion, step one is first and foremost, look at your refined sugar.
Good.
I mean,
Okay.
It's not even about the probiotic at that point. If you're looking at truly step one, look at how much sugar you're consuming on a daily basis.
And you're trying to cut that back.
Yes, because that is what's feeding the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yes, everything.
Right? So until you remove that, there's no point to even attempt the future aspect of whether you need a store-bought live probiotic, a spore-based probiotic. Because if you're going to continue, what doesn't change will never change.
Right.
You've got to make changes. And if we're looking for the number one change, I would say, look at that first.
I like that. I think that's wonderful. I think we all need that to some degree. I mean, some listening are the type of people that, give me the 72-step list of things I need to do in what order, and I'll do it. And that's great for those personalities. And I love those personalities because they can just drive to that end. But I think that's not as common as, I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go out and buy everything, and I'm not going to know what order to start in. The simplicity of saying, hey, listen, just let's reduce some refined sugars right now. Today, let's do that. Right?
Absolutely.
And tomorrow we can look at some more, and then we can look at adding the right source of benefit to our body, or removing something else that's causing, removing some processed food, or maybe adding a little bit of fiber, or whatever it might be, right?
Right. So, I'll just go to the basic questions I ask someone.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to the bathroom?
Okay.
Are you constipated? Do you have diarrhea? Because that's going to tell me a lot.
A lot.
Right? The second one is, do you belch or do you bloat after you eat?
Okay.
That's going to tell me another piece.
Interesting.
Right? How much water are you getting in a day?
Yeah.
So those are just very, very simple little questions, but it tells me a lot about where do I start with someone?
Yeah.
Perhaps it's not even a probiotic. Perhaps it is a probiotic.
Yeah.
But if someone is not eliminating, before we look at a probiotic, we got to remove the refined sugar, and we have to get their colon moving.
Yes.
Because they're toxic.
Yes, because we got to get the toxins pulled out so that we can start to work on the environment.
Yeah. And then you just kind of move down that chain of events of what's next. Okay, I've cut down my refined sugar. My colon is fine. I'm drinking enough water. Okay, now let's talk about what maybe it's food. Maybe it is, some sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut, but if I eat too much sauerkraut, I get bloated.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think that is that, and that goes to the balancing and listening to your body approach, which I think in the end is really what we always want to do. As we get more educated, we learn a little bit more. Now, of course, like the AO scan technology does a great job in helping us listen to our body, right? It guides us to that.
Absolutely. And if you just take a snapshot, like you don't have to dive into each individual line item, but you take a quick snapshot of, number one, what's your colon doing? Number two, what's your hydrochloric acid doing? What foods are showing as 1s and 2s?
Yeah.
Or 8s and 9s for that matter.
Yeah.
Like, did you eat those? If you did, I tell people all the time to do the Cocoa Pulse test.
Okay, what's that?
So Cocoa Pulse test is where you have a watch, a 60-second hand.
Yep.
You consume a piece of food. You can either hold it in your mouth for 30 seconds and spit it out, or you can digest it.
Yeah.
And then within 1 minute of that, you're gonna see what the 60 seconds is. If your heartbeat is, because you're gonna do your heartbeat. I should really start over with that one. But within 60 seconds, if your heartbeat is 6 beats or more higher than it was when you very first started, you have an inflammatory reaction happening.
No kidding. Okay, so let me make sure I can do this as I walk away. So I'm going to take whatever food, hold it in my mouth for 30 seconds, either spit it out or swallow it. If I swallow it, I hold it. I wait a minute.
Either way,
Either way, it doesn't matter. A minute later, I'm going to. So I have to have measured my heart rate at the beginning. And then I'm going to measure my heart rate 1 minute later.
Correct.
If I'm 6 beats or more higher, unless it's something I really love, like ice cream or a pie, then I'm going to...
Then just don't do it.
Because I'm just going to be happy anyways, right? My heart rate is going to be up because I'm excited to eat the rest of this food, right? Outside of those things, I'm going to take the 6 beat higher measurement and say, okay, body doesn't necessarily love that inflammatory response.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And if you want the most accurate, you're going to do it. The most accurate on the, that's a fast way to do it, is to consume one thing. So a piece of gluten bread, right?
Okay. Only eat that.
Only eat that one piece of gluten bread. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do your pulse for a total of 60 seconds.
Okay.
You're going to eat that piece of bread. You're going to wait for 45 minutes and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your pulse again.
Okay.
And the same thing. It's the 6 seconds or 6 beats per minute higher or more.
Right.
The reality is, though, it's the most accurate. So sometimes you said that excitability, right?
Yeah.
You have other influences that are happening that could create you to spike your heart rate really quick.
Right.
So that 45 minute is the most accurate way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's one food.
One food. And don't go running in between, and don't go walking around.
No,
Stay still,
you
stay
really,
seated,
really need to keep
relax.
yourself relaxed.
Yeah, stay in.
So if it, I say, if it's popcorn, right?
Yeah.
Just have a handful of popcorn.
Yeah, I
and
love
then,
popcorn.
Then, you could do it and see what happens 45 minutes later. I like the 45-minute one just because it is the most accurate. You only have to do it once. There's so many, like I said, there's so many influences in that 30 seconds, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Like you can still see pretty quickly, like, oh gosh, my heart rate just went up and I was not expecting that.
I love that. There's so much expertise. Jennifer, I think that you should really do another course or 10 for us so that we could learn more about how to figure out how to see what is in our lives, what we can do to really leverage our environment and our situation to better health. And like you did with your functional medicine practice, was to give people more solutions to their situation rather than limiting them. I think broadening that approach is so valuable.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you will be seeing more of me. So
Okay.
I've got a course coming out, coming out called Cultivate Calmness.
Okay.
So that is coming. Again, I do have my Simplify from Head to Toe, which is kind of my little baby.
Yeah,
And then
it comes with that book. That
comes
book
with an
is so
incredible
impressive.
book. The book literally helps you simplify from head to toe.
Yeah.
You don't have to know it all.
Yeah.
You don't. So if you literally go page by page, or you want to just look something up, you can go to the probiotics section and you can see what Saccharomyces boulardii does.
Yeah.
You can see what acidophilus does.
Yeah.
You can see what lactobacillus does.
Yeah.
So that book is just powerful to be able essentially as a little health Bible, really.
Yeah.
Because it's really showing us what's going on inside of our body or what tools we can use to be able to support ourselves.
That was really fascinating. That whole interaction with you and Jennifer was awesome. I'm looking forward to the whole thing. Guys, these podcasts are amazing. And this has been an amazing month, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great month.
So much going on. And the other thing that you and Shelby talked about a little earlier was the upgrade to being able to make these scans more fast.
Yeah.
Without some of those slowdowns and pauses. So these are all things that our engineers have worked hard on. And we appreciate your feedback that help us to come and identify some of those. So Kai, what are we going to do?
Well, okay. So, I mean, on that podcast, or at least that segment that we just showed, which is part of a longer podcast that we'll put out on our Solex podcast area, which we have links to in the description. Obviously, we talked about probiotics, we talked about gut health, we talked about the influence everywhere. One of the things I think that we could do is ask you guys on future podcasts, what sort of subject matter would you like covered on a podcast? And this can be broad.
We sure can.
Obviously, we talk about AOScan technology and we talk about the things that we have to offer as Solex, but as we dive into different areas, we might be able to pull in, how does Solex and AOScan technology or any of our other products relate to other subject matter?
Well, and think of how broad the scanner is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things we can look at it from emotions to gut health to brain health to all of these things. So give us your input on that. That would be really helpful.
Yeah, and if you comment on this call, again, after the live chat, comment, what's a subject that you would love us to cover on a Solex podcast? We'll give away in relation to gut health, right? X. Just a wonderful, wonderful, very well-rounded product for helping balance the environment within the gut. And so, of course, we're going to give that to 3 next week. So comment on the call, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
It's so good. See, and Jake, we got Jake's real laugh coming out over there.
That was awesome. I can't wait for the whole podcast.
Yes! I am blooper free this round, just so you know. This whole call, blooper free.